Hey, as an entrepreneur and business owner, I bet you want to scale out your business. However, we don't do the things that allow us to scale at the start of our business. Sometimes we've got to do the things that cannot scale. And this is the topic of today's video. Today, I'm going to cover 8 startups who have become big successes, who have become household brands, and brands that everybody knows about. However, these 8 brands didn't start from, scaling right out of the gate. They started out with zero and they had to claw through the marketplace before they found their first few users. I'm going to break down the 8 different startups today and how they actually found traction, their first 10 or 1,000 users, and how these startups got started. The first is Tinder. Tinder is a dating app. For those of you who don't know or haven't used it yet, it's made dating super simple, and you basically swipe left or right depending on whether you like or you don't like the person. And if both of you swiped left or right on each other, like both of you swiped on a person that you want to match on and it happens, then you guys are matched up. If not, nothing happens. It started off with 0 users. This was founded in the University of Southern California. That's where the founders were from. And their journey there was absolutely guerrilla. They didn't have any marketing budget. They had to get traction somehow. So they would run around USC pitching Tinder to the sororities and the fraternities. And they will hold parties as well. And in order to get admission to these parties, the users, the people wanting to enter, needed to show that they had Tinder installed on their mobile phones. So really manual and guerrilla way of getting their users. The second startup is Doordash. Doordash is a food delivery app, and these guys started off with, again, nothing. Before Doordash was known as Doordash, they started off with a website, and the website was called paloaltodelivery.com. And the only thing that they had to offer was PDF versions of menus of restaurants in the Palo Alto area. That's it. That was the first version of DoorDash. And all that they did was to print out flyers advertising a delivery fee of $6, and put them all over Stanford University, targeting all the college students. And if anybody was interested, they would be able to get whatever food they want from whatever restaurant around the Palo Alto area, and basically get it delivered for $6. So that was how DoorDash started. The next startup is pretty famous. It's Uber. Everybody should know what Uber is. And the thing is, Uber also started off with a very manual process of getting their first few users. And this is how they got started. They basically did manual street canvassing. They got people to go down the streets and really made sure that they could give referral codes to the people that needed a ride. And where were these people? They were at train stations, they were at street corners, they were at places where people needed rides. And the Uber people would just hand out referral codes to these people waiting for a ride, or these people wanting to get a ride. There was also stories of how Travis even went to Twitter's HQ to give out referral codes to people wanting a ride there. Snapchat is the other app that we are talking about today. Snapchat is co-founded by this person called Evan, and he was well known to have manually gone down along the streets to talk to people about Snapchat. In his home, which was in the Pacific Palisades, he would go to all the malls and approach people, telling them about Snapchat, how to use Snapchat, giving them tutorials, and basically explaining why the app should be something that they use. It was a very tedious and manual process, and that's how they got their first few users as well. The next app that we're going to cover is Etsy. Etsy is a marketplace specifically focused on arts and craft. And when Etsy got started, they didn't have users as well. So how they got started was they will go around all these craft fairs in the United States, and they'll visit the craft fairs, talk to the sellers, and get the sellers to sign up to their marketplace. They knew that as long as they got the sellers to sign up, the sellers would then be able to get their buyers to go there, thereby removing the need for any digital marketing. So that was a huge trickle down effect, and that was how Etsy got started as a craft marketplace. The next startup that we're going to talk about is Pinterest. Pinterest, you've probably seen it before. It's a whole bunch of images. It's like a gallery listing of images, and people can search for images and find images on Pinterest. Now, Pinterest started off as an invite-only community. That means you needed an invite to sign up. If you didn't have an invite, you couldn't sign up. So they capitalized hugely on the FOMO experience, right? The fear of missing out experience. And that got them their first few users. They didn't just give the invites freely though. There was a plan and a strategy for this. The first few invites to Pinterest were given to people who had a following, and specifically in the design or the creative space. So they would target all these people, typically bloggers, and they had their own audience, they had their own works, and that would be the first few posts on Pinterest. Eventually, they also got these first few adopters to also extend invites to other people, only if those people are also of the same caliber, of the same experience, of the same expertise. So it was a very exclusive community that was slowly built up, and that made it very, very appealing to people that were not part of the community. Eventually, in 2012, that was when Pinterest lifted up its invitation requirements, and then users started flooding in. So that was a great way of really making use of FOMO to drive user acquisition. The next startup is Dropbox. I use Dropbox myself, and I'm sure either you or many of your friends have used Dropbox before. The thing is, Dropbox started off with nobody knowing what they did or what their service was all about. The first few users that Dropbox got came from this video that they shot. Now, Dropbox was struggling, and they decided to one day just shoot a video and post it. The founders were part of another community at that time known as Dig, and Dig had their own private jokes, had their own references, and in the video that Dropbox shot, they referenced many of these private jokes, and so the video appealed a lot to the Dig community, gathering a whole bunch of likes and catapulting it to like the top few positions in Dig in the first few days. Over the next few weeks, Dropbox actually got tens of thousands of new signups just from that one video alone. But that was not all that they did though. Dropbox also ran a very, very extensive referral campaign. Now, this campaign was not about you getting money or cash from referring your friends. It was giving you free space, free Dropbox space if you refer a friend to Dropbox. And that went viral. Everybody started telling their friends about it, because with every friend that you refer onto Dropbox, I think it was you or your friend or both of you who would get an increase in this space or in Dropbox space. And at that point of time, everybody wanted that, because that meant you could store more files, you could share more files, and that really got everybody talking about Dropbox. The next and the last startup that we're going to talk about is Reddit. Reddit is an online community, and with online communities, you face the problem of having an empty site. Now, an empty site sucks because no users are going to use it. But if you have no users in the first place, then you're going to have an empty site anyways. So there was this huge conundrum that they had to solve. The founders just did what they could at that time, which was actually to use their accounts, and they went to continually post stuff every single day, multiple times every day onto Reddit. And that allowed them to create content. And in a few months, they started getting users doing the posting themselves and getting the content engine going. At the start, they also did not have the subreddits that you see today. At the start, Reddit was just one big community and everything was in one big Reddit. It seemed like the site was bigger than it was, and it made the community feel bigger as you know than it is. So these are the 8 startups and how they got started. I think as you look at their journey, you realize that all these startups did the things that did not scale at the start so that they could scale later on. And this is the thing about a business journey. Depending on where you are in your journey of business, what you do at each stage will be different. And when you get to a point where you can actually scale, that's when you start looking at the systems, the processes, the people that will allow you to get to the next level. So hopefully this helps. If you like this video, let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. Share this also with somebody that might appreciate how to start a business and really scale it from like 0 to the first 1,000 users. And more importantly, hit the subscribe button so that you'll be notified whenever I put out videos like this. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.